everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another in-depth review. Today we're gonna review this palette, which I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce. I got this in my Revolution Ultimate Create With Me set from B&M. I will try to link the video down below, I always forget. So I currently have on my primer, foundation, concealer, eyebrows and eyeshadow primer, so that we can pretty much jump straight in. So this is what this palette looks like. So we've got a highlight, a blush, a bronze, 9 eyeshadows over here. You have 3 shimmers and 7 mattes. Okay, and I'm just going to go straight into this bronzer. This is called the Grand Tan. And this is like a more cool toned bronzer. It does have some reasonable depth to it. But I don't know how dark skin tones would get along with this. I do think it's probably more suited to lighter skin tones. This powder seems to be pretty hard pressed in there, like it's kind of difficult to be getting stuff on my brush. There's no fallback or anything. Just going to take a more fluffy brush now. I don't feel like it's actually shown up very much. I feel like it's quite a light pigmented product. I mean, I do like it. It's more of a cool tone bronzer, which I do tend to like a bit more. And there is a blush in this palette, so I don't need to worry too much about warming up my face too much. Then I'm going to go in with blush, and it is called Love's Hue, and it's kind of like this dusky mauve colour, and it has fine gold flecks in it. You probably can't see, but it does. So I'm going to take a bit, that has a bit more kickback, a bit powdery, but I do feel like this blush sort of steers away from that red rosy cheek look and is just sort of like a bit more muted. So that's very subtle. It does have sort of like a I say like a sheen, almost like a satiny sheen to it, like it's kind of glowy. The shade hasn't shown up too much. It looks a lot like what I already had going on in this area. It may show up better on someone obviously with a more sort of blank canvas, because I already had some redness there, so it's kind of difficult to see. It's very natural, and yeah, I actually kind of like it, which is very rare. So this highlight is called Pure Glow. I really like the way it looks because it's like marbled in the pan. It looks more like a lightish like pink colour. It doesn't seem to have any like big chunks of glitter in it or anything like that, which I really appreciate. Yeah, that again has a little bit of fallout. So showing up. It doesn't actually seem to be picking up too much texture, which is really quite rare for me with the highlight. It's very natural. It's a very natural sort of sheen. Definitely matches the blush and the bronzer. I actually kind of like it. So all of the face steps I've actually been actually quite a big fan of. I feel like the look that I've come out with is very natural. It looks very healthy. It looks very sort of like almost like I've just walked outside and it's really like cold and brisk, and I've just got sort of like a little colour to my cheeks, but not too much colour. A nice sheen, not too much sheen. And then we're going to go into eyeshadow, and I am so in love with the look of this off the bat. So we have some really beautiful shades, but overall it looks very understated, and I want to say basic, but like sophisticated is kind of like the vibe that I get. There's a beautiful pop of colour with this orchid shade, which reminds me of a peacock feather, but it looks very rich and expensive. It's described as being a sheer metallic purple. When I look at it and I swatch it, it looks more like a purple with a blue duochrome finish. So I'm really excited to put that on. It does look slightly sheer when swatched, but it looks beautiful. There's some really nice dark shades in this palette. Down here, obviously you have a black and a dark brown. Then you have Petal up here, which is this like really beautiful burgundy shade. You have some really nice transitional shades up here. Again, one warm, one cool. You have this really nice like white cream shade. You could definitely do an all matte eye with this palette. I feel like crystal and copper would complement every shade in this palette. It seems to be like there is real thought behind the shades, and they seem to all work like harmoniously. But it does seem as though you're only really going to be able to make a sort of like dark smoky look, and that makes me wonder about the versatility. But we're going to try it out. I haven't tried any of these on my eyes, and I'm just so excited. I think I'm just going to start off with Ash, which is a shade up here. This nice cool toned shade. I'm just going to put that in my crease. I'm going to go back into that Ash shade just with a bigger fluffy blending brush. There's some nice pigmentation off the bat, very nicely blendable. That shade is nice. I think it's a good base, but then I wonder where I'm going to build from that. I suppose my only real option is the brick shade, which is next to it. I'm just going to show that out a bit more on sort of like the outer edge. They blend really nicely into each other, really easy to work with, very pigmented, looks pretty true to shade, honestly, shade out. And then taking more sort of like a dense brush, I'm going to go into Smoke, which is the like sort of like greyish shade down here. These shades have like a little bit of fallout. It's nothing major, like there's no fallout all over the palette or anything, but just in where I've tapped it, you can see there's just a little in there. And I'm going to concentrate that more sort of like on my outer corner. So I wouldn't say that it's grey, it's more sort of like a, I want to say like a muted black. Okay, that seems to be a bit patchy. Don't know if you can see it like right there. Go back into that same Smoke shade, and I want to just try and get that out here and a little in the crease. Yeah, it's definitely patchy there. I'm not really sure why. So as that's shearing out, that is more of sort of like a, it does remind me of Smoke. Like, it reminds me of blowing out a candle and like the colour that comes from it. Back in with that big blender. I actually really like that. And then, of course, I'm gonna have to see what Orchid is made of. I just, ever since I saw this palette, I have been dying to use this on my face. I'm just gonna get a flat packer brush. I'm gonna go into Orchid. Oh, that seems a bit more harder pressed than the others. Oh, we have a little fallout there. I'm gonna spray my brush quickly. This just helps to sort of like stick everything together a bit better. When it's loose, it just helps to bind it. Oh my god, that shade is beautiful. Okay, we still have a bit of fallout. I'm gonna take my finger. It's definitely more blue to me. It doesn't look purple. How strange. This side looks more purple than this side. This shade has the most fallout so far, but it's not difficult. You just brush it away. I'm gonna put on some eyeliner, and I'm just gonna use this one from Maybelline. I'm just trying to use it up because if you didn't know, Maybelline isn't cruelty free. So I'm just trying to use this up so that I can throw it away. I'll have to come back once I've done it because my mirror is down here. Okay, so eyeliner is on. I'm gonna go into that night shade, and I'm just gonna sort of try and smudge it a little. That black seems pretty pigmented. It seems pretty black. Okay, I like that. So you can still see my wing kind of, but it's more sort of like dark and smoky. A little bit of fallout. I'm gonna do the bottom lashes. Just grab a little brush, and I'm probably gonna go in with Smoke. I think I'm actually just gonna take Canvas, which is this white shade, and I will just put that in a corner, I think. So I'm gonna curl my lashes, and I'm just gonna go in with my Technic Mega Lash mascara because I want my lashes to be really nice and big and black. Don't know how, but this mascara seems to be somehow getting better with age, even though it started off so incredibly. And then let's finish up with the lips. So I want the lips to be pretty neutral, nude, because I want the focus to be the eye. So I have this L'Oreal Paris signature lip in the shade Be Determined 301. Again, L'Oreal Paris is not cruelty free, so I'm just trying to use this product up. It pretty much matches my natural lip colour. And I'm just going to take a bit of this lip liner. This is the Technic retractable lip liner in the shade Nude. I'm just going to take a little of this and just define my lip. Okay, I'm back. I'll give you a close-up of the final look. So this is how everything is looking. So then we'll just go through and do our actual proper in-depth review. Okay, so starting off with the price. This currently on Revolution's website is £5. However, it is out of stock. So from the £5 price tag on Revolution, this would come in at 50p cheaper in the Christmas set that I bought. If it was at its standard price of £10, it would be £5.50 cheaper. So that's just some information. So if you are interested in trying it along with other palettes, then it would definitely be worth getting the Christmas set. So the outer packaging is this beautiful like cardboard. It's very expensive and luxe feeling, and I actually prefer this kind of packaging a lot more to this kind of plastic packaging. It feels and looks very high end. It looks very understated, but the word that comes to mind is classy. It's simple and elegant. So the person that created this said that she wanted to make a travel friendly palette that had all of her favourite shades in it. It is definitely travel friendly. It's very slim, it's very compact. It's not going to take up a lot of space when you're traveling, but it's also very sturdy. Like, it feels like it's not going to break during transport, unlike those plastic ones which I dropped on the floor and literally the mirrors broke. The guinea pigs are drinking water, so that's what that noise is. I am sorry. Are you gonna do this every time, Treacle? She says yes, mummy. It has a nice mirror in it which looks secure. It looks like it's not going to break. As I mentioned before, I dropped those plastic ones on the floor and the mirror did shatter in them, and obviously that's a big safety hazard. Oh, and it is magnetized, so it closes really easily, and it means that it's not going to come open whilst you're traveling. But it also makes it feel expensive because it is magnetized. It doesn't feel like you're just paying £4.50, £5 for such a nice feeling, good quality palette. So it's all of your like face powder sets and all of your eyeshadow in one, which is very convenient. It's very handy. You know, you pretty much just need this and then a small bag of other items, and then you're good to go. If you were to take this Emily palette, you're not going to be able to take that traveling. You know, it's big and bulky, whereas this is very compact and will travel a lot nicer. To me, the packaging does actually stand out quite a bit. Like, I feel like the sort of expensive look, like for example, I have my Jawbreaker palette here, which is the most expensive palette that I own, and this is what, like £45 more expensive than this. But if you actually look at them, like this one, it looks more expensive. It looks more high-end. This to me looks like a high-end product, even more so than this actual high-end product does. And the feel of this, they're both made out of the cardboard. They feel like the exact same. Like, this is a bit heavier because obviously it's a much bigger palette. This as well is magnetized. As I mentioned earlier, I think that the colour story is really well put together. It is a shame that these are only going to be suitable for light-skinned people, because, you know, the eyeshadows in here are really nice. So it's a shame that if you wanted to try this, that you would, if you were darker skinned, you would essentially be missing like half the palette because you can't use it. So that does kind of alter whether or not it's worth it. So for me, it's definitely worth it because I think that I'm going to get a lot of use out of this. but that's just a personal decision. I really like it. I do think it is worth the deal. As I mentioned before, it's definitely good to get it in the Revolution Ultimate Create With Me set, because you're getting a lot of palettes to try, and they're all at a really low price. Again, I just want to mention that I think the pan size is really good. I did have the slightest issue getting my fluffy bronzer brush into this shade, but I think that you're getting a really good pan size of this and of these, especially for the price. This and the Orchid shade I think are a little harder pressed than the others, and that kind of changes how much you can pick up. The Orchid shade I was able to build, as you saw. It did actually take a little more effort than I would have liked. Who's rumble strutting? Treacle? Do you have to rumble strut while Mummy's filming? The bronzer I don't think I did build to the kind of intensity that I wanted, but the Orchid shade I was able to. The blusher and the bronzer feel very nice and creamy and buttery. The highlighter feels a little grainy, very similar to the feeling of these textured ones in the Soph palette, and I am assuming it is because they have the same texture, so I am assuming they are the same formula, and that formula doesn't feel as nice. Everything complexion wise looks really healthy, natural, youthful. I think they're really great products. The eyeshadow I think was really pigmented. There was a little fallout with the Orchid shade and the Night shade, but other than that there wasn't any fallout at all. They translate really well on the eye and look pretty much the same on my eye as I do in the pan. Like, look at the blue. Like, it's maybe not as maybe it doesn't look as metallic on my eye as it does there, but the colour is really similar. We had a little streak in this corner from the Smoke shade, but I was able to sort of salvage it, and it just seemed to be that one shade. I think they're pretty opaque. I mean, that black is really nice. And as I mentioned earlier, I think that all of the shades work really harmoniously with one another. Like, there's differing warmth levels in their tones, but I think that they would really work well together. If you could use this shade with like any other shade in the palette, I think that makes it incredibly more versatile. However, you do only have these two transition shades. You do have 3 different deeper shades, but I mean, Smoke and Night are kind of similar vibe. You could make different looks, but I wonder how many different looks. You could definitely bring the bronzer and the blush in as transition shades. You could probably try and use the highlight as an inner corner highlight or a shimmer. In terms of whether or not I'll pick it up, I definitely think that I'm going to be using this palette a lot. It really speaks to me. I like the muted nature of the blush because it makes it more approachable to me. Like, I never use blush, but I actually really like that blush and the way it looks, and I suppose I will see if it is versatile. I'll definitely be doing more looks with this and posting it over on my Instagram, so you should check that out. My handle on Instagram is Katie Tries Makeup, and I don't have anything that is similar to this palette. So this Orchid shade, like, I have nothing that even comes close to that. The same with this Petal shade. This Ash shade up here I think is really beautiful as well, actually, and seems actually kind of unique in terms of a neutral transition. The Smoke shade, I don't have anything like that. I have a couple blacks, but you know, nothing like that. And even this Crystal shade is more sort of like rose goldy. I think all of the shades in there are actually pretty unique. And if I wasn't reviewing this, I do actually think I still would have picked this up. I hadn't seen it before, but if I had seen it, I do actually think that I would have probably bought it, because the colours just, they speak to me. Like, this is doing colour, but in a very wearable, approachable way. Like, using colour can sometimes be really frightening. I remember way back when, and I did this like blue, I think it was like a blue or green eyeshadow look, and once I'd done it, I felt like a clown. Like, I don't know, I didn't like the way that it looked. I didn't like the way that it looked on me. I felt very self-conscious, but like doing something like this, I feel like sophisticated. Like, I feel like this would be a really great introduction to like using pops of colour in, you know, as I said, a very wearable way. Like, I'm gonna go out into town in a minute. I'm gonna have my black mask on and I'm just going to be rocking this and I'm going to be probably confident as hell. And I would definitely recommend this if you're fairer skin toned. So that is really probably the only downside for me, is that it's not inclusive. But I do also understand that they wanted it to be travel friendly, so they couldn't have like all these different varying shades in there. But maybe it would have been nice to see different editions of this. But that's probably just my opinion with regards to like all of these like face palette things, is that I feel like they should all try and be inclusive. But that's it, that's the finished video. This palette definitely gets a bunch of thumbs up. I really like it. I would definitely recommend it. Definitely going to be playing with it. Make sure that you like, comment and subscribe. I have also set up a Patreon if you want to support the channel. Anything that I get from there will just be reinvested into purchasing things to review and make content from. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, stay safe out there, and bye.